just look at things, and listen
Yeah.
to what you have to say and answer some questions. If you have questions for people, please do. But Pdina, but Pat, I don't know if you know that Meghan Markle, you know that how she did that pretentious thing with the that bread with the strawberries. I'm not gonna play it here because it's painful to watch because it looks awful.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
really? Is that the best she could do? It looks stale. The bread looks hard. It's just cream cheese, and then it doesn't look appetizing to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it is. It supposed to be like cream cheese and like made to look like strawberry, like red, like love strawberry. Like I didn't even know what that sauce was on top of it.
I don't know. It looks, you know what it is? It's even when she posted that shirt with the kids, the board
Yeah,
was dirty.
it was.
Yeah, it was dirty. It's like it looked like it had cut some, it's not even neat and nice, it's really
Oh,
weird. It was just
okay.
so weird. But what I wanted to get at it, and I want to take because you told me you never heard this right now before we were talking.
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
Princess Diana, well, Lady Diana, before she married the then Prince Charles, I'm going to share this story with you guys so you guys can see it because you see, it's not just going to be my words. You're going to be able to read it and we're going to
Mhm.
enjoy reading it together. Okay.
Mhm.
This is Hello Magazine. King Charles, well, now he's king, but keep in mind that he was prince back then, right?
Mhm.
Secret wedding gift to Princess Diana, and she refused to wear it, right?
Mhm.
That was that, the embellish, and they're talking about the wedding. Following royal tradition, Diana added a Welsh gold wedding ring to her finger from Clogau. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name, but there was another special ring she chose not to wear. The night before the couple got married, Charles reportedly sent Diana a heartfelt gift, a signet ring engraved with the official crest of the Prince of Wales, which is the same one he wears daily.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So Diana reportedly said he sent me a very nice signet ring the night before to Clarence's house when the Prince of Wales, with the Prince of Wales feathers and a very nice card that said, "I'm so proud of you, and when you come up, I'll be there at the altar for you tomorrow. Just look them in the eye and knock them dead." You know,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
this is the ring that Princess Diana used to wear, little pink ring, with the king's crest.
Mhm. Okay.
Like this one. So now Megan's claiming that Harry gave her one.
Okay. So just to always keep the similarities between what happened with Diana is happening with her.
I think it's creepy bad.
You think it's what?
I don't even think that Harry gave her that signet ring. I believe that she went and she had it made herself because she's not wearing Harry's crest. It's the Megan only thing.
Yeah, it's to create a dialogue of trying to be like that Diana figure, trying to be the 2.0 of Diana continually.
It's talking to the next level.
Yeah, it is because you're on the inside stalking, essentially. I mean, that's really
That's sick.
dangerous.
But that's sick. I mean,
It's
she has
very
to
sick.
copy everything, Pat. I mean,
Yeah.
because
She
she said that Harry gave it to her last year. I don't believe it because you know how she bought herself that watch that was a cheap copy of Princess Diana's. That's it from Meghan to Meghan.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm. Yeah. So, it's so creepy because Harry is going to be in a position where it will finally hit him. Like these are the things that are going to be revealed to him later. He sees it now, but it's going to make so much sense later. And it's going to be all these things are going to play back in his head because it is going to come back to bite him.
Do you
Most
think so, Pat?
for
Because
sure.
I heard that Kinsey Schofield said that Harry still blames the palace for Meghan's unpopularity.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. I think Harry is wanting to blame his family because he didn't listen to his family. You know what I mean? He didn't listen when they tried to tell him about her. So he wants to blame his family for himself, not listening to them saying that, be careful, especially his brother. So it's just not taking accountability for things that you should have taken accountability for. Your family told you about this woman. Your grandfather told you, you didn't listen. So, he's going to keep playing that. It's almost like when you go to uh what's it called, where you have a drinking problem, where uh Alcoholics Anonymous, like there are steps to recovery.
It's all
Harry
steps.
is,
It's all steps. Yes.
yeah,
It's never
Harry.
alcoholic or anything. It's just that I know about it.
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, we all know about it. A lot of people, because we hear
Mm.
about it where we've had family, in it. And he's just not in the position where he can really admit to himself his own contribution to his own problems. He just has not woken up to it yet. And until he does, he's going to say, "Oh, well, they're the reason why. It's their, No, Harry, you didn't listen to people trying to tell you about this woman. And that's going to take a lot of self-pride to swallow for him. And he just can't do it. Not right now, So it will
Um,
happen though, for
but
sure.
do you think that he genuinely believes, or do you think he wants to believe that because if the alternative is awful for him, you know what I mean? It's like when some people. I have a girlfriend. Her husband was cheating. It's like she kind of knew, but she chose not to because she didn't want to face up to the fact because then she would have to do something about it.
Yeah, yeah. I think Harry he just I don't even know if he can, to be quite honest. He just wants to be the victim, and now that he sees how unpopular his wife is, he is feeling so, I think, defeated by it all. What can he do? Seriously, what can you do but blame your family? They're the reason. They've caused my marriage to break down because people don't like her, and she's stressed. So now I'm stressed. He is constantly going to blame his family for all of this. And, it's unfortunate for him because he's going to live in this misery until he's able to face the fact that he made the choice. And to get out of this is going to take some serious pride swallowing on his part. So I just think that, and then with the news we're going to talk about later, with what's going to be coming their way, there's a lot coming. There's a lot hanging over them, a lot of dark clouds hanging over them. There's
Mm.
no way you can have sunshine in a marriage when you've got all this darkness hanging over you, but you're going to pretend for the cameras. At least Meghan is. Harry doesn't reciprocate any of it. And
Mm.
it, for me, it's as clear as day was coming. I see it happening.
But when you say that he has no choice but to blame the royal family, I believe that he does that because he is not man enough to own up to his own mistakes. And
Right.
I think I read to you somewhere, this guy who's I follow on TikTok. It's like there's nothing worse than a person playing a victim of a problem of their
That
own
they
making.
created. Yeah.
Of their own
Mhm.
making.
Mhm.
It's like, well, hello, hello, hello. If it isn't the consequences, not for your own actions, it's
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, that's just, and have you ever heard Harry take self accountability for anything?
no,
Have we ever heard him say anything about, well,
no,
I did that, and I'm sorry, or I shouldn't have done that. Regrettably, that was something that I should not have done.
that I
Has he or Megan ever said anything? I mean, is everything always
no,
someone else's
no.
fault?
But no, because if they do, then they have to admit that they were wrong or that they did something wrong, Pat.
Right. You never
They
heard them
don't do
say it.
anything wrong. They're always blaming somebody else. Like
Exactly.
people don't like me because they're being trolls, they're hate speech. And I wanted to talk quickly about the body language in this picture, Pat.
Mhm.
This is
Yeah.
a hostage. Do you think his hands are tied under there?
Well, okay, you have your what you think. I have what I think about this picture.
Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think.
Well, okay, so he is kind of smiling in the picture, right? He is kind of grinning. Uh, I think he always is in a more submissive position when he comes to his affection towards Meghan. Okay.
But this is just recently. I have to differ with you because at the beginning he was always hugging her. They were kissing her, like hold, like you know what I mean. He was
But it
like
was but wasn't Meghan always the one who was
at
the
the
aggressive
beginning. No,
one?
at the beginning, I remember the Botswana trip and stuff like that. I actually did a little clip of the videos and compared to my video yesterday. I showed how he was all over her before, like he was hugging her and she was behind her and like kissing her neck and everything. It's like, and
Mhm.
my video yesterday, I did a comparison of how times have changed. It's like,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think maybe that could also just be a sign of how the relationship is now. He is more submissive to her.
yeah, it's
And
true.
so his body language is showing that he is less the dominant one in terms of his physical affection, and she's the one that is the aggressive one, or the one that, she's the one taking him by, the face and grabbing him. He doesn't do that to her. Now, in terms of whether or not he's still happily with her, I mean, he is kind of grinning in this. I think this was an earlier photo, but what I
Yeah.
find interesting is that Meghan did not post a more recent photo of when she was just with her husband a few days ago. So why were you not celebrating or even having some kind of pre-Valentine's Day date while you were together, understanding Valentine's Day was that, and because they celebrate Valentine's Day, then you should have been doing something prior to leaving for So
This
that's
ties
why.
this ties in perfectly with what the body language is awful. Here, he's like
Yeah.
with he doesn't even reach out to her, whether it's an old picture, and it makes it even worse because the body language must have gotten worse with new pictures.
Yeah. Mhm.
But this ties in very well with the next thing. The people are talking online that Meghan Markle was always meant to leave early. Guys, by the way, last year she was at Valentine's there. She spent Valentine's with Harry at Invictus in 2020. And sorry, in 2024, she spent Invictus and they went that romantic dinner that Marcus Anderson was there and everything, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that year with her. Now, you and I have talked about this, Pat, and it's
Mhm.
like if you look at the Invictus page, the speech that Meghan Markle gave the day pre-Invictus is nowhere to be found.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
because that was not, and then she was never supposed to hold the mic. And I think that's why she wanted to do it the day before because she knew she wasn't allowed to speak. But a lot of people are saying that no, she wasn't forced to leave and stuff like that. Because you told me that, and you and I were talking about it, that it
Mhm.
makes more sense for her to come, for example, on the 13th, spend Valentine's with her hubby, and
Mhm.
the closing ceremonies host the royals who are coming all the way from Washington
Mhm.
to the closing ceremony and then fly back with her husband. So she could have stayed like 2.5 days instead of 5 days away from her kids, right? Because
Yeah.
this is what I'm showing you guys. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle look set to host Prince Joachim and Princess Marie of Denmark at the Invictus Games 2025 in Vancouver.
Now what day did this come out? This came in January, this article, right?
Let me see where. Yeah, I have to
Right
look.
there. It says January
January
11th
31st of
or
January
30.
25.
Okay, 31st. I can't hardly see. Okay.
The 31st of January, right before the Invictus started, they flew there
That's
on
exactly.
the 7th because
It was
that's what it was.
planned.
Yes.
Mhm. And what do you see? She leaves early. So this right here shows you she was not supposed to leave early. She was not supposed to leave early. She was supposed to be there to host the prince and princess of Denmark. So for people to think that it was planned, it wasn't. And the other thing is when she gave that speech, she could have easily talked about having to leave early. It is quite rude, I think, when you are there and you give an opening speech for an event you are attending, and you do not discuss leaving or saying goodbye. That's rude behavior. You always are supposed to at least acknowledge your departure, to acknowledge that you are leaving early, but we didn't get any of that. It was abrupt and it was her having to leave because she was essentially told to leave. There was a fight, there was an argument, and this is why she left early. It makes complete sense. And this, I think, this article really shows us that she was supposed to stay, to
Yeah,
host it.
because hi, honesty and true. Thanks for the super chat. It infuriates us that this pair of numpties can claim to have two children, no documentation, giggly and silly around two kids when people who are worthy struggle to have children. It's
Mhm.
disgusting. I agree with you.
It is, and I also think, to your point, thank you so much for the super chat, that you and I know that Meghan was supposed to, at least it would have made more sense to even bring the children because they're quite young still, and this should be a family thing. And not bringing them shows that there is, I think, a disconnect. I think there's always leaving to brand themselves, like when they did their royal quasi royal tours, there's always doing things without their children. The last time they did anything when it was around working was when they went to South Africa with Archie, or no, when they came to the Queen's Jubilee. I think they say they brought Lily at that time, in 2022, but I don't know that we saw her. But remember the birthday photo, or the photo that came
Oh
out?
yeah. The one that they said no, 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 that. But it's insane because I know you know that for the queens, I sent you the judgment that 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 the judge gave for Harry's security, the one that he said that like yeah, that he said that he wanted to bring the kids, and the judge, because he's suing for security, right? And the judge
Mhm.
said no, you have to give 28 days notice and blah blah blah. And he had applied to bring his family for the first time. He applied on August the 2nd of 2022 to, because he was given 28 days notice, more than 28 days notice, to bring his wife and his two children for the first time to the UK. And I
Mhm.
don't know what they answered him, because then the judge said that his lawyer wrote an email complaining about that the arrangements were not satisfactory on August 20th. And we know, therefore, that he didn't bring the children in September. So we know by what the judge says, in because he went in detail on all the times Harry had been to the UK, whether he had applied for, because he was complaining that for the Well Child Award he didn't receive any security, and that the PAPs were following, which is not true in none of them, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So the judge went very detailed. I sent you that judgment, and and nobody has picked on this. When the judge says, it says there on August the 2nd, if I remember correctly, you applied, you notify Radek that you had intentions of bringing your entire family for the first time to the UK.
Mhm. Mhm.
That would have been Lily's first time. So how can she be at the Queen's Jubilee in June?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So that's, I don't think we believe that she was there, do we? I mean, there's no proof of it.
No, not at all. And this is the thing, we're talking about him at Invictus, right? Because this is an article here that says the only person Prince Harry trusts to take over the Invictus Games from him. And he claims that it is claimed that the Duke of Sussex is keen for the legacy of the Invictus Games to remain in his immediate family and be passed on to his son, Prince Archie, when he reaches maturity. Then why isn't he bringing Archie over to the Invictus Games, especially since we caught him saying that he's talking about people being blown up? And
Right. It doesn't make sense. I mean, this is the time when you instill these moments, these memories with a child, to help them really grow up with it so that they can really understand it fully, and to, try to talk to your child. It's an Invictus. It's Invictus. It's Invictus. Well, you surely aren't giving your child the experiences of Invictus. Invictus is a far off, far away land of conversation, because these kids have never seen an up close and personal experience around Invictus that apparently they're hearing about all the time because Papa, Daddy is working all the time.
on the
Okay. Hmm?
on the phone.
On the phone. It's all on the phone. So, just like with the children of William, these kids are not going to have any close experiences with their cousins, with Invictus, with all the things that they say are important in life, the kids are missing out. And I think it's going to be a shame that they're not going to grow up with those lovely British accents. They're going to be like the Americans talking yin yang yin yang.
Megan's accent, which is worse.
Yeah, but contrived,
Uh,
contrived.
but it's insane. Like I was thinking about it because Archie, according to him, is having serious conversations with his child at 5 years of age.
Yeah,
Asking him
right.
about landmines and people being blown up and stuff and body parts and him showing him videos. And of course he brought up Princess Diana. But yet the kid is not mature enough to be brought to Invictus because there's snow. Kid could have
Hmm.
been snowboarding down. My kid at 5 years of age, almost 6, because Archie's supposed to turn 6 in May this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they love outdoor snow, like games and stuff like that.
Yeah, it would have been so much fun for them. And then to also meet the veterans, to have those experiences with the men and women, and their children. It could have been a great learning experience. It could have been so valuable. I mean, if Harry really is all about Invictus, wouldn't you want to give your child experiences that are important to you? Wouldn't that make sense? So really you have to almost understand, how important is Invictus to you if you don't even want to give this experience to your children? I just wonder how really close it is to him. I
Yeah,
just question it.
I mean, I don't know, but this ties up with the next topic we're going to talk about this because I found when I read this, I thought this was a joke. When I'm going to preface this because we all know Harry has never seen one day in combat. He himself has admitted that the first and only time he saw a wounded soldier while he was in Afghanistan was on his way to the military plane to go back to the castle to be
Mhm.
greeted by two future kings. And there was a gust of wind and it blew up like a plastic curtain there where there were apparently medics treating a very badly wounded soldier.
Mhm.
That's in his book, Spare, guys. This is not me talking. So that's the first time he ever saw a wounded soldier in a really war, torn area.
Mhm.
So I was sick when I saw this. And I want you to talk to me about this. Prince Harry reveals he has therapy to cope with listening to heartbreaking veteran stories who suffer from PTSD and trauma.
And you know what is so bad? He is making their trauma about him. Well, how can you take the trauma of these veterans and then make yourself the story behind it? Is it not bad enough? Why can't it just be you deal with that in private and shut your mouth? Do nobody need to hear about your trauma, what you have to deal with, Harry? You know, like, keep the focus on what is important. Highlight the charity, the work that's happening, how they're overcoming, because if anybody's got PTSD, it is the men and women that are fighting who have had these injuries that are participating in Invictus. And you hearing about it is giving you trauma. You better go kick rocks. That is ridiculous. You I mean, how can you even compare hearing about trauma and having to have therapy? They've gone through it.
He's
That's what
such
I'm
a
talking
fraud.
about. It's really bad. I
He's
mean,
such a wimp. He's such a wimp. And I'm going to give you, and this is just me. Let me know what you think, Pat. He's
mm,
re-traumatizing these veterans because then these veterans are going to feel bad that they shared stories with him because now they made the prince poor, you know how we feel bad.
yeah.
Can you
And then
imagine? And he's just listening to the stories. He didn't have to go through what they went through.
exactly my point. Exactly. So that why would you even how is this a news story? How did this come to light? Why is
Because
anyone
Harry
hearing about
made himself
this?
a victim because Harry wants people to know that this is hard for him. Pat, I'm telling you, people think of Harry as this good guy. It is Buckingham Palace who did a great image. We're seeing the real Harry, and people don't like it.
Yeah, this is terrible. I mean, you've got some nerve to make it about you, Harry. You got some real nerve. I mean, he is just disgusting to me. This is why I just hope, that, Harry and Meghan really get what they're supposed to get to have a turnaround, because they still aren't learning and listening and trying to show any improvement in their delusion. I mean, it's just getting thicker and thicker.
It's bad, isn't it?
Yeah, it
It
really
is.
is.
Can you imagine re-traumatizing? Because now that he's put this out, it's a way to shut them up, so they will never tell them stories about it. Because I would not want to tell somebody telling me, because of you, I have to go to a therapist because of you. That's what he's
Right.
saying.
That's exactly what he's saying. Right.
I mean, what do you guys think in the chat? Because can you imagine, Pat, if I said to you, if I'm telling you my problems and then I find out in an article nonetheless, oh, I'm talking to Paul, I have to go to a therapist, because it re-traumatizes me.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah, then
it's
this
going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to talk to Pat again. Hello, Pat. Yeah, listen, I have more trauma coming your way. It's like,
Yeah, it's like, did he even get anything out of the past therapy that he had? I mean, well, how
oh,
is it that he's being re-traumatized?
I have no idea because he's such a girl. He's a wimp. It's not a girl because some girls are tough. He's a wimp, and he
Yeah.
makes it all about himself. It's all the punishment. It's just he's very much. You know what, Pat?
Mm.
This is why he married Meghan because they're both the same. They're always perpetual victims.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to an extent, I think Megan is I don't know why I feel like Harry is like the bigger victim. I seems like he's the bigger fraud to me, because he's the one always trying to get um himself all these different things, like around his security and then the kids and growing up, or things that happened to his mother. And and then Megan, I guess, feeds off of that, and they just both are. I mean, how can you be so, like, comfortable in the way that of your living in terms of your lifestyle and having access to money for just your basic necessities of life, but yet you always have something to complain about? I mean, you don't even know real struggle. You don't know the struggle of trying to meet your financial obligations every single month. That they don't
And
have to worry about that.
he has no dignity either because this is a great comment about the Pat Tillman Award. He has the mother of Pat Tillman telling him, I don't want you to have his award. But because she was kicked out of the organization and now is the former widow who's remarried and is
Mhm.
basically milking. By the way, their charity is also delinquent. They haven't posted the tax returns for a couple of years. They're all paying themselves over $100,000 a month. 90% of the what's raised, it goes to pay salaries. Okay,
Mhm,
so
95%.
if he had been a decent guy, he would have respected the mother and said, you know what, I respect, I want to send a veteran. Like that veteran that was standing, one of them veterans that was standing, that he didn't want them to leave the stage. He could have said, don't take it from, I'm not going to receive it. A proper veteran is.
Right, yeah. That's
Like
that
that
that's
guy
what
who
he
was
should
all
have done.
burned, or the lady who had the leg, because it was blown up and he made her stand there because he was such a wimp that he didn't want to be booed. So he had these three veterans. He was using them as a shield
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like he did, yeah.
because he wouldn't like it. Can you imagine if the roles were reversed and somebody he hates gets the Diana Award? He wouldn't
Mm.
like it.
Yeah. Yeah, he wouldn't. And I think he just wants to try to maintain himself as a victim, use other people for protection as a cover up, and to help make his uncomfortable presence a lot easier on the backs of people who have really gone through a lot of trauma. He's just such a user. And, you know, like we were talking about also, about how they can come and go without even being noticed. Yet he still wants to complain about his security when he knows good and well he's able to do things without the press knowing about it. And he gets what he gets if he gives a notice and leave it at that. Why fight about it still? Why throw tantrums over it? I think
It,
it's
it's just, you know
terrible.
what is disgusting? Because this is a man, and this is when people, I've been talking about this for years, that but Buckingham Palace did a great job. What you saw out there is not the real Harry. What you're watching right now is the unsupervised version of Prince Harry.
Yeah.
It's the non-censor one, the one that Buckingham Palace doesn't have to be constantly calling the press for them to bury the stories of this guy.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's what I think. I mean, I
Ted,
don't know what you think.
how does that work with burying the stories? You think that the king is allowing it, or how do you think that's
I don't know.
happening?
No, I mean, when Harry was a working royal,
They
he
did, but do you think
was, oh yeah,
now?
oh yeah, they're still helping them,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think
Mhm.
there is a campaign to bring Harry back. I mean, Trump has. Oh, I have some news. Trump has come out and said that he's not going to deport Harry no matter what. So, but the judge gave a ruling just now that he is going to make some documents available on the 20th.
So his visa application.
Well, some documents just to figure out whether he lied or not. We don't know. But then if Trump has already said he's not going to deport him, it doesn't make any difference, does it? And then people say, oh, but we will know. You will know, and it'll be worse because then Harry, and this is the thing, you and I know this, Pat. People who are abusive, when they see that they can get away with stuff, their behavior escalates. They don't
Yeah.
consider themselves lucky. Their behavior escalates.
Yeah. Yeah. That's because they haven't had any consequences to these
Well,
actions.
yeah, and now you have President Trump on record saying that he's not going to deport him because his wife is awful. How do you feel? How do you feel about that, Pat?
Uh, I think it's messed up, man. The president of the United States calling you out is terrible. I mean, that is like the biggest dig. I mean, Megan in general, she is the one that is really, I think, upset the most over it because we know she's trying so hard to work over on her image and trying to sell these products. But when the president of the United States calling you out is terrible, and I mean, that gives a heads up to the people that really don't follow this, and
Mm.
then they kinda know who you are, and then they just go, "Oh, the president says she's terrible." I think it's really bad for her to be called out like that, but she should have been called out like that because it's the truth,
No,
you
I know,
know?
but don't you think that's a little bit misogynistic? Because I don't like Meghan, but that basically absolves Harry of everything. Because so what if Harry goes and is not reporting taxes? Because Harry, guys, is doing stuff too. Okay,
Mhm, mhm.
so we're not gonna do it because his wife is terrible. It's like saying poor Harry. To me, that's giving him a pass. And that is not right because Meghan, God knows she has her flaws, but Harry is no angel. And I don't think that he should get a pass. Can you imagine all the illegal aliens saying, oh, well, you can't deport me because my wife is terrible?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Wow.
don't think he should have said that because, and because then, yeah, I don't want to get political, but he ran his campaign that nobody was above the law. And now he publicly goes and what he does is blames Meghan for everything. So basically, Harry has a free pass. And I think that's part of the rehabilitation of his image because the king is coming to the US next year.
Yeah, yeah.
So we know for sure that no matter what Harry does, he will be protected at least until the king's visit and he leaves. That's a
Mm.
whole year.
Mhm, mhm.
Do you think
Wow.
that's correct?
Um, no, I don't. Mm-mm, no. Why should he get any protection? Like, why, how can you come to this country then expect things to go your way? And there are people who are citizens that, you know, need to be, I think have what they need for funds that are being used for your protection. Like that just doesn't seem fair to me at all, you know? So
Yeah.
of course not.
But it's like because it's not fair. I mean, it's not fair for anybody. All those illegals that are being rounded up like crazy. They don't.
Mhm.
You know what, Patty? And I'm going to say this very publicly. I believe that Harry's more dangerous because I hear a lot of this. Oh no, he has pressing more matters. There are more dangerous illegals. But not really, because these illegal people don't have access to a huge public platform like Harry does.
Well, okay. I mean,
You know what
his
I mean? Harry has access to a huge platform. These poor illegals who are picking up on the fields, and they are paying their taxes, because you and I would know how shady Harry and Meghan are about the tax thing,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
These people don't have a huge platform. They don't have a royal title.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of gang members though too.
No, but I didn't say that. But he's rounding up thousands of people who are not gang members or anything. They're just illegal, like Harry. And if Harry entered the country under false pretenses, that doesn't excuse him for being deported, and the law, and the
Yeah.
full weight of the law, especially because he has access to such a huge platform. We're reading right now here, guys, which ties up with this, that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry paying big bucks to Dem operatives via their charity, sparking calls for a congressional investigation.
Yep. Mhm.
Meghan Markle
So,
and Prince Harry have funneled hundreds of thousands of dollars to controversial political operatives through their charity, according to documents reviewed by the Post. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have been spending big on high level Democrats' party aligned sources, according to public records, including hiring a disinformation expert who worked at a company involved in every high profile US election since the 90s.
mm, I mean, Harry and his work is everywhere. They're never going to have sustainability with this model. You know, it's going to fall by the wayside. It's going to not pan out to be what they want it to be. I think the marriage can't sustain much more of the issues that they have now, even with this new thing around their charity. But at some point you got to just start trying to be better. And I know I always hold out hope for that, but I'm like,
Yeah.
how much longer are you gonna be stupid? How much longer? It's like when you gonna snap out of your stupidness, Harry?
The problem is because they have such huge platform, they go and use it, and millions of people see them being stupid. You know what I mean? It's not like, I can be stupid on my little platform, but we're talking that this guy has access to a worldwide media.
Yeah, yeah, and I think he's got to find himself in a position where he hits rock bottom, like just hit the bottom and start to come back up and get out of this nonsense. But yeah, it has to get much worse for him before it gets better, I think. That's what I think.
Yeah, and it's so funny because I'm going to show you something. I don't think you've seen this clip, Pat.
Mm,
Because you guys know that Meghan Markle managed in 2014 to be interviewed by a university in Ukraine via Skype. I don't know if you guys know that. Please let me know if you know that in the chat, if you need a
mm,
little bit more explanation about that. Well, for some reason in 2014, Meghan Markle was desperate to be part of something in Ukraine, right?
mm,
She contacted TV stations, but nobody knew who she was or anything like that. So finally, a university that she reached out to said, "Yeah, sure, we'd like to talk to you, blah, blah, blah." So they did that. But it's incredible because there's this clip here I want to show you that she's apologizing to them because she couldn't make the date after they invited her. That is a lie, because in the actual Skype conversation, which I have, they're saying that they were happy when she reached out to them. This, the star of Suits, right?
mm,
So, but
mhm,
listen to this little clip. I'm going to mute so you don't hear the echo. Let me know what you think, Pat.
mhm.
Okay, let me mute myself, guys, so you don't hear an echo. Okay.
Hi to the students of Taras Shevchenko University. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. But when I talk to you guys soon, you will be able to tell me how I should be saying it. Meghan Markle here. I just wanted to personally apologize for not being able to make our chat this morning. I am on a whirlwind trip to New York. I was at the UN earlier today and going to an event this evening and then right back to filming tomorrow morning in Toronto. So Please forgive me for having to reschedule. I'm really looking forward to talking with you guys. I think it's great that you reached out to talk, of course, about suits, which is always fun, but really to talk about greater issues and things that have more gravity and importance. So thank you for being interested in things of that nature. Thank you for taking the time to want to talk to me, and mostly thank you for understanding that I had to reschedule today, but really look forward to talking to you guys next week and hoping that we can make it all work, schedule dependent. So sending lots of love and of course gratitude, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you. Bye.
Oh, I can't hear you.
That was a lie. They didn't reach out to her. She reached out to them. This is Ukrainian. Oops, sorry. Let me stop that. They didn't reach out to her.
They didn't.
No, they didn't know who she was. She reached out for some reason, and then she, during that speech in Ukraine, that Skype call, because she said, the guy, he's introducing her. She said, "We're really happy when you reached out to us, and to receive your emails, and and it's Meghan Markle, the star of Suits, like the guy was being complimentary."
Right.
And then in that call, do you guys remember that? In that call, and that it's a Skype thing. The guy, she starts talking politics, and she says that she is working with Hillary Clinton campaign when Hillary Clinton hadn't even announced her that she was running for president. This is 2014, by the way.
Right. So Meghan had a hand, or she's saying she had a hand in helping out Hillary
That she
when
was
she
part of
first.
the Hillary Clinton campaign.
Mm,
This is in September 2014 when Hillary Clinton hadn't even said anything. She hadn't even been planning on running
mhm,
or anything. She I think she announced that she had decided to run in February 2015.
mm.
So we're a
So do
good
you
6
think?
months away.
Well, I'm wondering if she had something to in behind the scenes when Hillary was running, because we know Meghan met with Hillary when she was actually in the royal family. So she could have still been helping out behind the scenes during that first run, or that run that Hillary had for presidency.
You know what? I just don't understand why she was so keen in Ukraine specifically, because that's the year that Joe Biden, and she was already deep into Soho House,
Okay.
2014.
Okay. So why do you think
I
the
have no
interest
idea.
there?
I don't believe she was an operative, but I think because she was a Soho House
Mm,
escort, that's my opinion. She was around these very powerful people. She was listening things about Ukraine. We know that former President Biden pardoned his son from January 1st, 2014 until December 31st, 2024. And he was in Ukraine 4 times that year. We know that there's a lot of things that were going on in Ukraine at that time,
mm,
and that the problems with Ukraine started in 2014.
interesting.
So, and then she was, I don't know. I mean, I can show you I'm going to show you because I think it might be interesting because she's talking about it. And then, of course, they asked her if she spoke Spanish. She goes, "Of course I do. Of course I do. I even asked the people from Suits to whatchamacallit. Here's the thing. I have it right here. Wait, I'm gonna show you just a little clip because I don't know if it's copyrighted. I doubt it, but this is the Q&A that she had. So the guys here, he spends like 5 minutes, but his audio is so bad because this is Skype.
Yeah,
Look
try
how
to
old.
listen to it. It's too much of an echo.
Yeah. But this is her talking. This is when she's talking that she's in campaign, that she's in the UN. You
Yeah.
guys can listen to it. Let me copy the link so you guys can go listen to it. How she lie, how she gets debunked in that lie, and that she says that, "Oh, thank you for reaching out to me." No, she wrote to different stations, and there's even an article which I'm trying to find, so you can read how this came about. And she said that she tried to get on TV stations, but it was really hard for her to get on and no Ukraine TV station wanted to interview her. They didn't know who she was.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I wanted to show you this because Meghan Markle is about to get worse news right now, Pat.
What's that?
Okay. She's really, I think this is what she was lashing out in here. You're so angry about Mark Zuckerberg because he owns Meta, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know he
They
owns.
left. They let. Yeah, and they just laid off a bunch of people.
No, but that's not it.
Well, I'm just saying in
Oh
general.
yeah, yeah. Fury as Instagram rolls out controversial new comment feature. Instagram has come under fire for introducing a dislike feature section underneath images, and you can't hide those. Just like you have the like,
Mm-hmm.
you also have the dislike because they need to know because people, a lot of giants of people, they pay for ads, like one ad, like for a celebrity, they get paid millions, like if you're a Kardashian or whoever, right? Or a hundred
Yeah.
thousand
Right.
dollars. That's how
Uh-huh.
they put ads.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so the popular social media platform is testing an anonymous dislike or downvote button under post, which has ignited concern about the impact it will have. They bringing back bullying alongside a laughing emoji because I can see Meghan Markle saying that comment.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like they just want to cover up all their bad behavior. Just learn to be a good person and to get out of your ignorance and entitlement. But yet here she goes, going to be upset about that feature, and
Yeah, I can actually see her saying these kinds of things. Creating yet another way to spread negativity for more
exactly
engagement.
because
It's lame as hell. Nah, let's not do that, please. Harsh comments already is enough, but you can control who comments, but you can't control the like and dislike button.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they want to continue to see us argue and hate each other. I'm sure that's Megan writing.
Hey,
You know?
I would be surprised. They probably know everything um around all the nefarious things that maybe other people are doing. I think because they don't want to get caught doing certain things. I think she's always plotting and planning. She seems like the kind of person that's always out there, watching her computer and planning. And I'm sure she's got like a spreadsheet, a lot of things that are happening and trying to maneuver and come up with
You
scenarios
scare them
because we
because
know. Remember, Megan Kelly said she had that vision board. I
yeah.
just can see her. She is the type to do that, just conniving all the time.
But can you imagine this is because this is not good because you see you can okay, let me show you this one step because this is going to tie in with something very good, guys, that I wanted to show you guys here. But this is, for example, with when you have here what they're going to do. I'm going to show you Megan's, for example. We're going to go to Megan's, right?
Okay.
We'll watch that. Okay, so I'm going to share this with you. So what they're going to do is you have the love button, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the love button.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put a dislike right next to it. So
Wow.
because a lot of people like Megan, they don't allow comments.
Right.
They don't allow any engagement.
Yeah.
And when that happens, then sponsors don't know exactly what's going on, whether it's worth it for them to advertise or not, because that's a measure, the comments, the likes,
Yeah.
so they're gonna have that button there so that she won't be able to hide. Because, for example, if you look at this here, this is the thing, right? Look,
Mm-hmm.
these are the one. Not very many people are liking this post, and nobody famous. That's it.
Yeah. Right.
And a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
these are bots. A lot of these are bots that I was looking at them at, like, for example, here, zero. This is a bot. She has zero post. How can you have, like when you this is a bot. Less than 10 is zero. It's considered like a bot. So you
Oh
have all
well.
these, yeah, yeah. When you have less than 10, this is a bot. Look, zero post.
Mm-hmm.
And you have people, they follow a lot of people because they get paid to that. It's like a farm thing, like they're farm the likes basically.
Yeah.
No?
Right.
So this is why they follow, or that's what they do. But so she won't be able to hide this because they will have the dislike button right next to this.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can comment, but they can like and dislike,
They
and that
can
is
like and dislike. And then she's not gonna like that because we know people are gonna flood it. I wonder, but you don't have to follow her to be able to do it, do you?
well, you don't, you just
I mean, she's just opening herself up for so much scrutiny. She's just going to keep trying, isn't she, Paula?
I know, but it's so funny because this is where I want to debunk something that's incredibly important because Meghan Markle has made the narrative. We all know that. That is the UK who started the hatred narrative against her. Remember that?
Yeah.
Before that, she never faced any hatred because there were no tabloids, no problems with her social media or anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Yeah,
you love that the internet is forever, Pat?
it is.
Okay, here we go. Here we go, people. Here we go, Pat. And I think you should use it too in one of your videos. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
This is just yummy. You know, like this is just too good to. Let me see which one is the one with 146. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, here we go. Ay Dios. You know, here. This is Meghan Markle in an interview she gave to Hello Canada magazine 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself so there's no echo. Okay.
Okay.
But listen to what she says, and this is very important because their whole strategy was that before, remember, even when she sat down in that engagement interview, that she was never part of the culture, that she didn't know about tabloids, that she never got any hatred. Remember that interview?
Yeah.
I wasn't part of that. I was like a private person and blah, blah, blah. And how Harry thinks that it's just the UK media that hate her. Bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Social media is another place where you're very active.
Yes.
And where sometimes it's a kind of an open door for negativity. So how do you handle that, and how do you make sure that you don't let it get to you? You know?
I will be honest, it's hard, and I think there's only more scrutiny the larger you're following. I have these moments where I'm on my Instagram, and you have to remind yourself that it's all just noise. At the end of the day, like, you have your own sense of self and purpose, independent of what anyone else is saying. Because for as many people, for example, on my Instagram that say they love me, they're the people that run in and tell me how much they hate me, or they don't like my face, or my freckles are dumb, or whatever you're gonna say.
Yeah.
But look, I'm human. So there are times where I'm reading it and I will chime in and go, hey, real person here.
That hurts
Like,
me.
please, I would kindly just unfollow me.
Yeah,
Because I would really prefer that you're not being that negative, because it does make an impact. And I think, for any of us, to just remember that as removed as social media can seem, where you're like, oh, I'm just at my screen or on my phone, I'm just putting this stuff out and it doesn't land somewhere. It does. And it lands in a place that can sometimes be hurtful.
On a human.
Yeah. So that's something I'm really aware of, and I think that it's just important to be as positive and supportive as we can in that space. And the messaging that I try to put out there with the TIG as well is just something that's positive, inspirational.
Yeah.
To keep it there. Just breathe in the good stuff.
Yeah.
Breathe out all the negativity.
Okay. What's the question?
Well, it's just that she was saying that she was targeted, that she had never faced any hatred until she got to the UK, that she never suffered any social media, no
Right.
tabloid thing. So this is 10 years ago,
Right.
a little bit over 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago. So she
Mhm.
was being trolled back then. So she was allowing the comments. So she was trashed in social media because when she sat down, since she met Harry, oh, I never had this. There's no tabloids in the US. People were always so nice to me. It's just that mean UK and that mean royal family.
Mhm. See, I think it just goes to the fact that, Meghan was always about trying to set an agenda that was is never really authentic. It's all about her trying to do what she's trying to do and lying on the British people, the press. It's just disingenuous type of behavior. And I think that's why they came out that there might be a congressional investigation against the Archwell Foundation, because they're trying to call out people for disinformation when really it's just that people don't really like you, and it's always been like that. It's it has nothing to do with when you were in the royal family.
See, she used to get negative things. That's the point. You just did it beautifully, Pat. Nobody
Yeah.
liked you back then, Meghan. It had nothing to do with the royal family.
Yeah. So it's just,
You know what I
gosh.
think happened when she hit it big with the royal family? It's like she went from being disliked for herself for by a small amount of number of people to being disliked by the entire world because now
I know. Because who you are as a person just shine right through. The bigger your platform became, the more exposed you became, girl. Everyone just saw your nastiness. We just saw it. It was just terrible. Now everybody knows. And like Harry said, we amplify that. We amplify what comes out in the news. It becomes a much broader reach because we take that news and then we speak about it to bring information, commentary, and insight into the news that they're making by their choices, by what they do. It's not hate, it's really commentary around why did you do what you did? Why are you doing this? And just really calling you out for your behavior. It's not misinformation or disinformation, you know.
yeah, no, I know, but it's so she was hated even when she was a little known person because clearly she didn't like the critique.
Exactly.
They
She
don't like
didn't
my
like
freckles.
it.
She wasn't being criticized for her freckles. She was being criticized for her behavior, especially after that director from Reitman's and the entire crew quit.
Oh
They,
yeah, they
they
really ripped her one.
and Facebook, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even then she was, but the whole point that I want to make is the UK is absolved. She
Yes.
was not like guys even before when she was a little known nobody.
Yep.
Like so it's not the UK's fault, and because I know that idiot Harry was watching, so it's not the Queen, it's not the royal family. She wasn't even liked back then by the very few people who knew her. She's not like now, and that has nothing to do with anything. It has to do with her personality, her lies, everything.
That's right. That's right.
And we're going to talk about something here. I just want to, we're going to close up pretty soon but we want to talk about Justin Baldoni and
Mm-hmm.
Blake Lively, guys. The reason why we want to talk about it is because you and I had a nice chat about this. Remember, Pat?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because right now, apparently, there was a judge that I am pretty sure that everybody here in the chat knows about this case, right, guys? Right?
Mm-hmm.
But I believe Blake Lively is just as bad, if not worse, than Meghan Markle. Or they're both the same level because I believe Blake Lively is a big fat liar and she's the one who created everything. What do you think?
Yes, I personally believe something went amiss on set where she started falling for this guy, Justin. And when he did not advance her coming ons and her kind of falling for him, she felt dissed and she put up a a narrative to show that he is somebody who, I guess, did some bad things to her to justify her coming on to him. I think she fell for him. Now, I must admit, I had to go back and I started watching the movie. My daughter read that book when it came out several years ago,
Mm.
and she said that the movie was not as good as the book. I think, and because I think she also took over part of the filming of this book, Blake Lively. And you go back and you look at some of her past interviews. Like, I really had to look and see, well, who is this woman? What has she done? I didn't know much about her. And yeah, she's a nasty piece of work. This girl is not a very nice, kind person. And she just got busted in, what happened. And she now and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, are going to be canceled from Hollywood because people are now realizing this Justin guy, he was a pretty good guy who was lied on by this Blake Lively. It wasn't good what she did to him. So Well, I think talking about this is going to be very, very interesting because they're going to court over it. Justin's kind of got his receipts on a website. It is some hot mess out there with these famous people, man. They got issues. I mean, got
Yes,
the
yes.
draws, everything is hanging out for the whole world to see.
But you know what I did? You know what I think? It really, you and I talked about this for Pat and I talk a lot. So we and I talk about it that this started the worst possible. Usually, the simplest explanation is the real one. I know that she has tried. There's a Forbes interview that she gave where she says that she pretends that she's only going to be acting and then that she wants to take over the film. First of all, if that were the case, maybe that's why she never gets hired, because Blake Lively, really, what has she been in? Nothing other than the Traveling Sisterhood for Pants or something like that, where they're all wear the same jeans, which is unhygienic, and the Gossip Girl thing, you know.
Mhm,
But what
mhm.
else, really, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think she was bragging in that Forbes. But what I think what happened is the following, because the whole problem started when Ryan came for the strike, actor strike. So he came
Mm,
home from filming Deadpool, right?
mhm,
This was the first time they've been separated. And please in the chat, let me know what you think, guys. And Pat and I talk about this.
mhm,
And I think he found some text messages from his wife,
mm,
Justin
mm,
Baldoni. And I
mm.
believe that in the way that she got out of it is like, oh my God, no, ew, he's so gross. You know, I love you. I don't love, what makes you think that he's sexually harassing
He
me?
sexually harassed me, right? Mm,
He came into my trailer while breastfeeding our child. Now, guys, and I'm gonna tell you this because Pdina and I talk about it. I have one of my mates, my best friends. And for example, Marines had just given birth and she's breastfeeding her kid, let's say in her office or something. And then she comes to me crying and she said, Paula, I was breastfeeding, my kid, and this guy just comes in all the time and he's looking at my breast and he sexually harassed me. For
yeah,
me, it's shovel time. I wouldn't even question my friend. I would believe her.
yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah,
that. Like, can you imagine we're talking about your daughter and stuff like that? You would believe
yeah,
your daughter, right?
yeah. Of course, yeah.
It's
Mhm.
like if you would go to the school, if she tells you that her gym teacher is doing something inappropriate, you wouldn't even think twice. You wouldn't even think, let me talk to the gym teacher to see who's telling you the truth. No,
Right,
you go full barrels to that school.
right, right.
And I believe Blake Lively miscalculated the impact of her words and her lies. And I'm sure she told Ryan Reynolds, this little wimp guy, because they see him as a little wimp guy, is
Mhm.
hitting on me because he has power, and he's threatened to fire me if I don't do this. He's always looking at me. Can you imagine you being married to your wife who just gave birth and you see her and imagine her? And I'm not excusing Ryan Reynolds, but I'm just thinking myself, because we have to put ourselves in his shoes. And for
Mhm.
1 second, whatever
Yeah.
control issues she may have, if your wife comes to you and says, this man, while I was breastfeeding our child, and she just gave birth, it's coming into the I don't know how you call it, the place
The breastfeeding room or
where,
trailer.
no, the trailer. He's coming to my trailers and he's sexually harassing me. I feel very vulnerable. I feel this, and then on top of that, he fat shamed me. I can just see a husband going apeshit.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine if somebody was doing that to you? What do you think your husband do, Pat?
Oh my goodness, he lose his mind, ever loving mind.
And
Yeah,
I
he would.
see him. He's a loving guy. He's a fun guy, but can you imagine if you came to him, Pat? Let's say you just given birth to your daughter, Athena. You come in and it's like, and you're breastfeeding, and let's say and you say that to your husband. Do you think your husband would question you?
No, not at all. He's going
He
to
would
take my
probably get
word
a
for it.
baseball bat, probably take a baseball bat and, level
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
So I believe that Blake Lively lied, and it's going to be an Amber Heard about it. And she's going to double down, just like Amber Heard doubled down on the stand when she was being faced with her lies. I believe she lied to Taylor Swift. I believe she lied. I
yeah. I
really
think
do
so
believe she
too.
lied.
This is why Taylor Swift doesn't want nothing to do with her anymore. She's like kind of backing away. And she's just a very disingenuous person, this Blake Lively. I think she's just not a very nice person, and she wants to take over things that are not hers. I mean, she wanted to take over the production, the movie, and make it her own. And what they did to Justin Baldoni during the premiere,
It's
where he had to
horrible.
go watch it in the basement. I mean, are you
That's
kidding me?
horrible. That's what
I
and what
mean,
I don't understand is why did he give this woman so much power? I
I
think he
think,
was
yeah.
starstruck.
No, I think he was just I think he was just trying to not cross a line where he was going to be too not nice to her, and she was just bulldozing her way into wanting to take over. Because that interview, I don't know where it was, maybe it was the Force, but I heard her talking about when she's been hired as an actress, how she just wants to take over and
That's
do
in the Forbes
things.
interview that I was
Is
talking.
it was, so it was like a video interview, because I heard her actually
In
saying
Forbes.
it.
It's a Forbes interview that she gave. I think
And
that she
everything she said in that interview is exactly what she did to Justin. And Justin, I think, was just trying to be nice about it and just not trying to step on any toes, because he knew, who her husband is. She's friends with Taylor Swift.
not
For
anymore.
him,
Not anymore. Tyler's
well, at the time that I'm saying, at the time. So for him, it was just a red line to not go too hard on, okay, sure, you can contribute to it. And then Blakely just kept pushing more and wanting more and more. And then it just got out of hand. And yeah, and it's unfortunate because now he's the one who, at least in the beginning, people were siding with Blake, but now I think I mean, I saw Candace Owens talking about it, and Ryan and Blake have lost a lot of followers and since all of this, and
he's lost
Justin
a lot
has
of weight.
gained a lot
He's lost a
more.
lot of weight, Pat.
Oh, and he's lost a lot of weight as well. You can tell the stress. And just to give a comparison, because what I just came into my mind, you got to look at all the stress that goes on in public life.
Yeah.
And then you have to think how that contributes to a marriage. And I think it's going to be detrimental to Blake and Ryan's marriage. This is what's happening here, because they're going to be fighting a losing battle, because Justin is coming with the receipts. And it's the same with Harry and Meghan. They are going to be facing a lot of stress in their marriage. They already are. And it's already affecting their marriage. So I think you can see how Blake and maybe Ryan try to show themselves as being strong through all this, but Ryan is clearly affected by it, by all this weight loss. And you'll start to see cracks with Harry and Meghan. You already are starting to see
Yeah.
cracks as well.
Because can you imagine? I can imagine Ryan Reynolds losing it, because if your wife comes crying with and you just because the picture that she painted is like I am breastfeeding our child. I just
Mhm.
gave birth and this guy's coming and sexually harassing me. And I'm
Mhm.
scared. I mean, can you imagine when you guys, I kid you not, just think of your daughter or anybody like that. That sounds appalling.
Yeah. It's
Appalling.
terrible.
And then when you find out and I got a good source who told me that Justin believed that Ryan believed every word, and Taylor Swift believed, and even Hugh Grantman believed everything that Blake Lively girl said, right? Let's
Mhm.
not forget that when Amber Heard came out, everybody canceled Johnny Depp. The
Mhm.
Johnny Depp, my baby boy, Johnny Depp, my
Mhm.
adorer. I mean, we have Cristiano Ronaldo, and then I have Johnny Depp. And this
Mm.
guy was canceled for years. This man did not give up. It took him years. He was almost broke. He lost a lot of contracts. And
Mhm.
Amber Heard, after she lost the civil trial, she still went on 60 Minutes. So I don't know who the hell gave her an interview. She's still doing movies, but she's still doubling down
Yeah.
her lies. But I
Yeah.
was told by a very good source that when Justin Baldoni put all the receipts on that website, that Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds were blown away. And
Mhm.
that the one insisting in getting all the receipts, a subpoena from all the receipts from Justin Baldoni, is Ryan Reynolds, because he still
Mm,
doesn't want to believe that he was played for a fool by Blake Lively.
yeah.
He basically went all in for this woman, and now he's looking at losing his career, his reputation, and his money. I mean, it's
Yeah, everything,
and
everything. And it's like he's losing everything because of this woman. And you, Harry, will lose and have and are losing everything as well because of that woman you marry. It's the same thing. It's very
oh,
similar.
isn't it? Isn't it? And I saw a comment that people said, all of the people saying that if they were smart, they would stop. They can't stop. They actually offered the mediation, and both parties refused because
So
you see,
explain why they can't stop.
well, because of what? Okay, Justin Baldoni. The only way that Justin Baldoni will stop the lawsuit is first he needs to be compensated because he was dropped from WME the very next day after the thing came out. Even an award was taken away from him the very next day. He's
Mhm.
lost a lot of contracts and his reputation was completely shattered. Nobody wanted to work with him. I mean, the fact that WME dropped you, and I believe that Ari Emanuel, this
Mm.
is, I'm posting this because this is recent. He just went on a podcast to mock Justin Baldoni. This is Ari Emanuel. He dropped because,
I
and
can't
Justin
see it.
you can't? Okay, you can read it. It says Justin Baldoni issues stinging retort after Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, Hollywood agent, mocked his name. Justin Baldoni has issued stinging retort to the Hollywood power agent of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, who also dropped the major bombshell that he was the one to fire It Ends With Us star amid the lawsuit and ongoing drama surrounding the film. Ari Emanuel,
Uh-huh.
who is the chief executive of WME parent company Endeavor, appeared on a live taping of the Freakonomics podcast where he talked about his personal relationship with Lively 37 and Reynolds 48, days after it was revealed that she had subpoenaed cell carriers to look for more receipts in her ongoing legal battle. During
Mm.
the interview held at the Wilshire Ebel Theater in Los Angeles, Emmanuel made fun of Baldoni's 41 last name as he referred to him as Bologna. Bologna? Like bologna, basically. During
Mm.
the show, basically that's mocking his heritage because he's Italian. I mean, can
Yeah.
you imagine somebody made fun of his last name for being Jewish? That's rude.
Yeah, that's not.
But
Yeah.
Baldoni's
But
lawyer, Brian Friedman, told Daily Mail on Friday and said, Mr. Ari Emanuel is notably one of the best agents and clearly the most loyal in Hollywood. As I understand it, Justin hasn't been called Bologna since the fifth grade. Perhaps Ari's perspective would be different if they had ever met. In the half decade, they were clients of his agency. So he'd been a client of his for 5 years.
yeah, yeah. Whew, I tell you, they are in a conundrum. I mean, this woman
And
is
then
a
you ask
piece
me
of
why
work.
they because when they did that thing with the post, that when that came out, that was brutal. That was on the 21st of December when, and that they did that. They didn't notify him. They notified him at 9:30 p.m. at night. I think it was a Friday, and they
Mhm.
gave him until 12 the next day. And then they published the article 2 hours before the deadline. They asked for an extension because, how can you be asking me for a right of reply if at 9:30 p.m. because sometimes you might be in bed, you might not be looking at your emails, right?
Right, right, right.
And
Yeah.
so his reputation was destroyed. The only way that, and they're doubling down, and they doubling down, they're double down until until Justin Baldoni produced all the receipts. So the
Mm.
only way that they're not going to go to trial is the following: is if Blake Lively admits that she lied
She lied.
and she issues a public apology, and she's never gonna do it. This is another Amber Heard who's still claiming that Johnny Depp punched her.
Mm. There's some real skanks in the world, man. I mean, that is just so wrong to do.
Oh, I'm gonna get the popcorn. We're gonna get the popcorn for this, Pidana, because I'm gonna start covering it a little bit more. But what I believe is, like, yes, the receipts are great. Yes, Ryan Reynolds is not a nice guy. I know that
Yeah.
he has a bad reputation, which makes me nervous because he's very good friends with somebody who I might be working with. I found that
Mm.
out.
That's unfortunate.
That's very unfortunate. You know what I'm talking about.
And I think they have 4 kids, don't they?
Yeah. But I have to do some investigation because this person is very good friends with him, and
Mhm.
it doesn't look
Wow.
does it
It's not good for him, Ryan. It's
or
not. I'm
anybody
sorry.
to him, you know.
Yep. So trial is set for next year,
Yeah, but
right?
the thing is, how can they back down? Because Blake Lively, if she backs down, Ryan Reynolds are done.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, that friendship, they're never, ever, ever, ever getting back together. You know that song from Taylor Swift?
Oh no, I don't know this. I don't know any Taylor Swift songs. I'm sorry.
Her song, this is not that the
You know what's
chorus.
so funny? I was just listening to 80s music. I miss the 80s. I love Journey. You know Journey? Oh, the music from the 80s was the best.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was the best music of all times. I'm sorry. I can't listen to that music
Well,
today.
they're copying. You know that some of the music nowadays they're basically remastering and they're pretending they're using like almost like the core sounds, and then they just add their own little thing. But it's
Yep.
like
I
because
believe it.
no, really. There's a
Yeah.
guy that there's a TikToker I follow, and he goes and he puts this is the original version and this is the now versions, and he compares the 80s songs, and he uses a lot of Journey ones or
Oh, really?
and he's
Steve
like,
Perry is his name. I just love listening to him. It just takes me back to high school. I was doing it this morning. I was just like, oh, I miss high school. I miss that time, you know.
yeah, yeah,
I
no, I love Journey, and they used to sing, guys. These guys did not use auto tune.
Right. No, they were really good singers. The music was clean. And if it was talking about something skanky, it was ambiguous. You didn't really know it. It wasn't in your face. And let me just say,
I'm
can I
gonna
just say something? Hold up, wait a minute.
P. I'm gonna, the word.
Yeah, there's a song called something about a woman's vajayjay. Like,
VJ
really,
Yeah.
I could not
How he's
believe
like
the
that.
blatant,
Yeah.
disgusting name that they were saying in this song. And people just shaking their booty to some vulgarity. What in the world is
Disgusting.
happening this to the world?
Yeah, even like for example, let's play hard rock here, okay?
Yeah.
Even Aerosmith. I mean, the
Yes.
song have nice lyrics. Dream on, dream on. Like
Yes.
you hear that kind of thing, or
And what was
Kiss,
another one? Rick Springsteen, Rick
Oh yeah,
Springsteen,
Rick
what's it called? Jesse's
Yes,
Girl,
yes, yes, yes.
Mickey, Vicky,
Salt and pepper. I mean,
oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind, head Mickey.
how about even Madonna? The things about Madonna, it wasn't even her music; it was her performance on stage.
Yes,
But her music
yes.
was lovely.
I'm
You
sorry, I
know?
cannot get into music today. It is wank.
But it's
I'm
easy,
sorry.
Even Alice Cooper, because I was a heavy metal singer. I mean, but even his music, I mean, the music was heavy metal, like AC/DC.
Now, I like some hard rock, like what's the what Twisted Sister?
Yeah, yeah,
You
that's
ever
cool.
was that hard
ZZ
rock?
Top. ZZ Top. Did you like ZZ Top?
I think I liked a couple of her songs. I know there was some hard rock I couldn't get with, but if it had some soul to it, like if it had a good chorus beat to it, I
Yeah.
could get into it. What's that one song with burn the house down?
No, I know which one you're talking about. I used Paul Abdul. I used to like Paul Abdul.
Yeah, me
You know,
too.
but I love the music. I used to go dancing. People now they don't go dancing. They just go smack that, do
Like,
that,
no, it's
the
just
twerk and stuff
oof.
like that. But I want to yeah. But so with Justin Baldoni, now that we're going to the 80s, with Justin Baldoni, it's like I mean Whitney Houston. I mean that
Whitney
was
Houston.
great. Mariah.
Yeah, music. Yes.
Even Kiss,
It's
I was a huge fan of Kiss. I'm still am, their group, but they have lyrics. The lyrics were good.
yeah, the
I know
lyrics
they
are
would not
really
have
good.
lyrics, but now it's just smack that.
Ooh, or
Smack.
yeah, and I love her song with Pat Benatar.
Oh, yes.
Pat Benatar is the best.
Prince.
Like,
Prince.
Prince. Oh my
Oh,
goodness, Michael
uh,
Jackson. When Doves
that was,
Cry, girl,
yeah,
I could go on and on about some music.
I remember high school. I do love and miss. Yeah, that was REM. That was a good one too. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like Duran Duran. I love Duran Duran.
Oh, Duran Duran.
ABBA. We just like
ABBA was watching interview on them the other night. ABBA. I mean, I just tell you the kids and the music today is
Van
so
Halen. I used to
disappointing.
love Van Halen.
Yeah, the music videos were so good and just
Even Ozzy Osbourne, who's hardcore, the worst thing he did is he bit the head off of a dove by mistake because he thought he was just going to jokingly do it. But I mean, the antics
yeah,
are, if you listen to the lyrics,
uh-huh. Yeah, my husband was
that thing
telling me
was,
too. You know, when I was growing up, I never went to a concert.
oh,
I
oh my
never owned an album. I never owned music. I always had to record it off of the radio station.
God, oh my God. No, 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 no.
And
I used
then
I
get
grew
this,
up
and listen
listening
to
to
this.
Paul Anka.
And Paula, we would record music on our little tape cassettes
Yeah,
outside.
I did too. I did. Oh my God, no, I
And the
remember
cars would be going by. We'd be getting mad because the cars would be driving by. It's like, shut up, I'm trying to record my song. 'Cause,
I
we
remember
had to
the
be outside, you know.
yeah, no, but I mean, it's unbelievable. Queen.
Queen, yes. Oh, my goodness. The music was so much better back in the day.
That was, what's listening. There's a YouTube by these two black kids, who react to music, and they were
Oh,
reacting to
yeah.
listening to Bohemian Rhapsody, and they're like, "Oh my God, we didn't know music like Ace of Base."
Yeah,
We didn't know that.
they're not hearing good music nowadays, and the kids are becoming just raunchy. I mean, it's not good. It's a decline of society. I'm telling you, with this music.
That was a good thing. Yeah, you know who I
Uh,
hate with a passion. I hate
who?
this guy, Bad
Who?
Bunny. Bad Bunny.
But I don't. Oh, Bad Bunny. The only thing I know is he dated one of the Kardashians. I think.
Yeah,
I
but
don't.
it's
Is he
like
one of those
he
vulgar?
sounds like look at Claudia Salas being here, P Diddy.
What you know the one song that I did like that P Diddy did where he did the remix of that Diana Ross song.
Oh, Diana
Yeah,
Ross.
yeah, Diana Ross was a good one too. Yeah, it's just and the TV shows too.
How was it? What was the name part of this band that I like? Well, it's hard to. What's it called?
Is it a music song
Oh, it's with the sisters, something like that with the sisters, where it's hard to find.
Oh, you're talking about this the Sister Sledge?
No, no,
No,
no. There were three women.
and
And
they did that song called Jump.
she was. They were played in Beverly Hills.
Yes, that
It's with Dionne Warwick. No, it's not Dionne Warwick, but it's well, it's
Sister
hard
Sledge.
to
Wasn't it
find.
Sisters?
Pointer Sisters. Pointer
Pointer
Sisters.
Sisters. Okay, right. Okay, Pointer Sisters. That's
Okay.
right. But they
Yeah.
did a song called Jump too, I remember.
Oh, jump
Mhm.
for my love, and because of
Yep.
that, we're gonna jump to Princess Eugenie dragged into Chinese spy scandal. En nombre del Padre, go back, you Satan. What do you guys think of this?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you have to explain what happened because I think a lot of people don't know about this
This
story.
is last November. Princess Eugenie, and she's uncomfortable because she knows she's been filmed. Okay, Prince Andrew Tangle's family with it says Princess Eugenie dragged into Chinese spy scandal. Prince Andrew Tangle's family with business as daughter makes appearance in Tokyo. This is last November.
Mhm.
Princess Eugenie looks a little bemused. A video posted on social media shows the princess wearing a black sleeveless dress, applauding politely as the representative of a medical diagnostic company walks onto the stage to shake her hand. The audience inside the ballroom of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Tokyo comprised about 1,000 multimillionaires, if not billionaire Japanese businessmen, delighted that the granddaughter of Elizabeth II had graced their event. Recorded for posterity on camera, phones, and by a bank of photographers, their flashballs illuminating her slightly awkward smile. The 34-year-old mother of two flew to Tokyo as part of a business deal struck by her scandal-prone father, the Duke of York. It can now be revealed. Prince Andrew has agreed a commercial partnership with a Dutch company, effectively selling them contacts and networks made prior to his fall from grace. So basically, the contacts he's made through the royal family, which
Mm-hmm.
he got when he did the royal venture called Pitch at Palace. So all of those people, he has that Rolodex. While he still lives in the royal lodge.
Yeah. Well, what do you say? What do you say?
Well, I'm asking you, what do you say?
I am of the mindset that you have people around you, you have advisors. They know your comings and goings. I think they were advised about who these people were and they did not listen yet once again. That's what I think.
Because they're making money.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
And now you know that the friend that they went to see is being accused of being a Chinese spy that Andrew allowed to come many, many times to the palace and even to the queen's office. And he was
Mm.
alone in the queen's office.
Mhm.
So they can plant listening devices and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and this is Eugenie. These girls, they're both of them, along with Fergie, are involved in all of this nastiness and messiness.
Yeah. See, and I think they have been under the radar for so long that it's finally starting to catch up with them. And you can't, I mean, what is it about people that get themselves in trouble around money? Don't you have enough money? I mean, is it that you don't have enough? Why you gotta always be doing things to get yourself in trouble like this?
Well, you know, they, I think it's because they're all entitled. They're never told no.
Mm, okay.
They're never told no.
So they just think that they can get away with whatever they want and they don't have consequences to their behavior because their whole lives they were able to do whatever they wanted to do.
Well, what do you think, Pat? I mean, what consequences has? Can you please tell me the consequences of any royals? We're gonna get to the consequence of one royal that he might be facing, which is jail time for real, for real, guys. But I mean, in the British monarchy, any consequence whatsoever that you can think that anybody has suffered.
I don't see that they do. I don't see that they do suffer anything.
I mean, Andrew's still living there. He has, you see, because there are moral clauses to when they sign a contract in the royal lodge.
Yeah.
This is a lot of
Mhm.
people don't know that. Andrew has violated them by when he was accused by Virginia Giuffre or Roberts, whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
and he violated them. They violated those things, and he could have been easily kicked out because that negatively impacts and makes him a risk for the rest of the royal family living in royal grounds.
Mm. Mhm. Yeah, I think it makes everybody vulnerable to your actions. I think it sets um your relatives, the people within the family, it puts them in a bad space because everyone is looked upon as being tainted, so to speak. And there needs to start be, and I think people that watch this get fed up that you're never facing consequences, real consequences for your behavior. I think there has to be some kind of accountability, especially when you're so high profile and you are on a pedestal, so to speak. You need to show good examples. And I don't understand how this can even happen. Why does it happen?
Well, I saw Andrew Gold interviewed one of Prince Andrew's bodyguards, and he admitted that for security reasons, they're supposed to write in a log. They're supposed to log anybody coming in, what time they're coming in, and when they're leaving. But with
Hmm.
Andrew, he didn't allow them to do that. So God knows
Mhm.
how many people Andrew brought
Yeah.
in, and it was never logged in. Apparently, he wasn't the only one who did that, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. Like, I think the courtiers in the royal household were the ones that had the power. I mean, don't they have the power over
Well,
the royal
clearly not,
family?
because if they did, they would. This is the misconception. People can only advise them. It's up to the principal to listen to it.
Mhm. Yeah, and they don't listen,
You
which
know, like
is
for example, I am sure that there are people advising Harry and Meghan Markle, but they don't listen.
mhm. Yeah.
The Queen
Y-
listened. The
And
Queen listened.
and I think it's unfortunate they didn't even put out the bullying allegation report on Megan. Like, the things are always so secretive when there are real problems and consequences. Nothing truly is transparent.
Again, they're protected.
Yeah, they're protected.
But you see, this is what people, and I've said it a couple of times. The palace was not investigating the bullying allegations. That's not what the report was about. The palace hired a committee or whatever to investigate what the breakdown, the handling of that.
You mean of the employees?
Handle basically the breakdown of why this was not addressed. So the investigation was as to, let's say, Pat, okay, you come and say, oh, Paula, so is bullying me, and you're going for years and years and years. I'm not going to investigate your claim whether you were bullied or not, but what I'm going to investigate is why procedure was not followed. Where was the breakdown of that procedure? So it's how basically they were investigating how the palace handled the complaint. They're not investigating Meghan Markle's complaint. They're investigating whether Meghan, if you read the wording exactly, because I went like, wait a minute, I thought that, but when you read the wording, that the report was as to how the palace had handled or mishandled
Mhm.
the complaints or the situation, that's what the report is about. In order for them to improve, so next time this happens, they will know what to do.
But I think vicariously through that came
Yeah.
out the things that Megan has done.
Oh yeah. Oh, they knew what she had done. I mean, they did
Yeah.
have the people over and the witnesses, and they came and said this happened and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Uh, but it wasn't really about that because they already knew that Megan was a bully, or allegedly, for legal reasons. I have to
Well, at
say.
least it's documented and
Yeah.
it's part of a committee investigation, and that in itself. I mean, they had to change procedures and how the royal
Well,
family handled
the procedure is
employees.
listening. The procedure is actually acting, doing something. Because if Jason Kanoff sent repeated emails and they did nothing, because in one of the
Yeah.
emails he said, does that mean that the laws of because it's called, I think, dignity and employment, dignity,
Mhm.
something with dignity. They call it dignity and the palace, like working with
Okay.
dignity, create with dignity. And he asked, does that means that these laws of dignity at work do not apply to the principals? And he never got a response.
Interesting. I just
Yeah.
got a super chat from Michelle. She's saying big cover up and corruption. Yeah.
And we're going to talk on this topic. We're going to close on this one, guys, because talking about royals going to jail. Guys, you guys know I lived in Norway. So this is the son of Mette-Marit, who's married to the crown prince of Norway. Okay.
Mhm.
This
Mhm.
guy is absolutely appalling, disgusting. He has art women, beaten women, and the media has
Yes.
been covering up. This
It's
lady
bad.
here was a presenter. New details from the case against Marius Borg Højby are shocking. The crown prince's family heavily guarded home because he committed these crimes. Let's say in Ahmed Hall or at Buckingham Palace, where the Queen is living, next
Mm.
door to the one of the rooms the Queen's things, right?
Mhm.
So, um, at the crime scene. I mean, it's in now that the palace is considered a crime scene. Okay, and this lady here, Se or heard means see and hear. That's how you translate it in. That's the name of the newspaper. Se or heard.
Okay. Mhm.
It says It hit the Norwegian public like a bombshell when Hood reported last week that TV personality Linny Meister, she's kind of lovely, had allegedly been assaulted by Marius Berhoby, 28. That's now he's not the son of the crown prince. Mette-Marit was engaged to this one of the most brutal drug lords in Norway. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
one of the worst criminals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was engaged to him when she met Håkon of Norway, and Marius was like 2 years old when they got married. Unsuspectingly, this is like a Diddy situation, guys. Okay, unsuspectingly, Linny showed up at the police station in Oslo, having been summoned for an interview about her old friend Marius. There she
Mm-hmm.
was, presented with shocking evidence of such nature that the police had reported the case as assault on their own initiative, regardless of whether Linny wanted this or not. That means that it was so horrible. Because that is when a crime like that is committed, usually even when the victim doesn't want to do it. Like if somebody, for example, gets murdered or something like that, you still have to prosecute, even if the family don't want to prosecute.
Right. Yeah, because it's against the state then.
Exactly. So during the interrogation, it became clear to Hood that the crime scene was Skaugum, which is the crown prince couple's base in the crown prince couple's basement room. So they took her to the basement,
Mm.
and then it says new development when a previously unknown TV celebrity was taken into the interrogation room in the Marius case. She spoke about Marius' good sides and that the accusations against her friend were difficult to understand. And then, after she shocked, the evidence that the police have is said to have come as a big shock to Linny, who has
Mm-hmm.
always considered Marius a good friend. Okay, according to our information, she stated during questioning that it was difficult to understand that he would have done what he's accused of before the police could show her the new evidence. Behind the cold gray walls of Oslo Police Headquarters, she received information that sent chills down her spine.
Gosh.
Police said that they were investigating abuse by someone who had been with her for a number of years. She was allegedly shown a double-digit number of images as well as 3 videos from 2018 in which she's subjected to serious. You know what it reminds me of? That woman that her husband, a drug
Hmm.
or Diddy.
Oh yeah.
Jenny has no
Mm-hmm.
memory. She has no memories of the actions.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And
Mm.
but let me tell you, this guy is walking around free in spite of the fact that he badly beat one of his ex-girlfriends. And you know what? The first time I reported on this, guys, I said because Marius is very notorious about him. He's very notorious about his violence and everything,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but he's always beaten or allegedly harmed women that are like actresses, or like, for example, this TV presenter, or. So
Mm-hmm.
when I heard of the fight and that it had been in this neighborhood, which is the most, that's old money, folks. Like we're
Yeah.
talking old money lives in that neighborhood, like proper money that you guys can't even think about or I can't even think about. These are not nouveau riche, okay? These are like
Yeah.
proper wealth. When they
Mm-hmm.
told me that it was in Majostuen, which is the area, I was, this guy's gonna be in trouble because he messed with the wrong girl. This girl must be from a good family. I go watch my video on it. I said this guy is gonna be caught, not because of everything else, because as soon as they said the address that it was an apartment, her own apartment in Majorstuen, nonetheless. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
just to give you an idea, a little studio in Majorstuen will set you back a few million. And this girl has like a two-bedroom
Wow.
apartment with a balcony. I think it's even in front of the statue park. I mean, it's and I said, and sure enough, because she is from one of the most wealthiest families in Oslo.
Wow. Wow. Mm, mm.
Yeah, yes, Janet, that's apparently what happened. And
Oh,
this,
yeah. Mhm.
get this, guys. He was somebody in his group of criminals. He has a Snapchat group with criminals, like really rough criminals of Norway, you know, and somebody
Mm.
leaked it. Leaked. Apparently, they recorded the conversation, part of the conversation when he's bragging how he was hiring the woman.
Oh. Mm.
It's
Wow.
terrible, but I don't even know why this guy's free because Mette-Marit, his mother, who's married to the Crown Prince of Norway, has been covering up for him. And the police was being stupid. They called her to warn her that they were coming to the royal residence because they were looking for a phone chip because apparently he had messages there. So what did Mette-Marit do? She went because he lives within the compound, like 20 meters away in his own little apartment. She went, looked through his things while he was taking a shower, and destroyed the chip.
Okay, so now that's crazy.
And that's what the thing gets better, Kofi, because this is linked to Meghan Markle. You know how
Okay,
this is linked to Meghan Markle?
how?
Because Mette-Marit was an Epstein girl.
Uh,
Mette-Marit used to be flown to New York and all kinds of things, and she used to be a huge Soho House person.
so do you think maybe she knows than Megan?
Well, yeah, I mean, when finally, and are you guys sitting down for this? I got really angry about this. I think Epstein was arrested on 2019, right?
Before 2020, yeah, I think around that time.
2019, right, guys? Can you guys confirm?
I'll look and see.
No, I know, old fashioned, but it's been confirmed because he really, like he
Oh, yeah,
didn't.
2019.
Okay, he had just come when he was arrested. He had been visiting Mette-Marit and Håkon for almost 2 weeks at their private residence of Skogum, where Marius is. Because they were
Oh,
personal friends. They were even introduced to an Ibiza, when they were vacationing. Suddenly, Jeffrey Epstein knew that Håkon was I've met Håkon, guys. I can tell you
oh,
that I have met Håkon. I can tell you a lot more, but I could tell you a lot more. I have met Håkon in person, and he's not smart. And neither
oh.
is his sister Martha Louise. She thinks she talks to angels. She just married this gay shaman, like
Mhm.
terrible. It's terrible. But
Yeah.
but but they were in the same circles. In fact, Harry took Meghan to Norway to see the Northern Lights.
Yeah, and he had to have seen the royals there.
Mette-Marit.
Mhm.
Mette-Marit. So in Mette-Marit, now it's coming out that she's been covering up for her son because the way he's been doing this is he's bringing these girls to Skagum because he knows
Mhm.
nobody's going to bother him there, even though it's surrounded by bodyguards.
Mhm. Mhm.
So he was given some quarters separate from the main house, but it's still there. And he was bringing this woman and doing this, and then even in the same main residence. So in Mette-Marit, I don't even know why the police hasn't arrested this guy who's not in jail because they put him in jail for a week, and then they let him go again.
Can't let him go. Yeah. I'm sure it'll come out why later.
Well, no, because of course I think she should be in jail. I think she should be in jail.
Well,
Because if she covered up crimes, God knows how many victims could have been, like
yeah, there
um
could have been a lot more women who were victims.
and we're gonna leave you with this, guys, and this is gonna be homework for next week that we're gonna be doing. We're gonna read you something, Pat. Don't say from what, okay? Because we talked about
Mhm.
this yesterday, but I'm
Mhm.
gonna leave this for homework for people for next week.
Homework. We got homework now.
Yeah, we do. We do. Okay. What and who will the royal baby look like? I'll give you these comments and see if you can find out who said them. Because whoever said this is a racist pig, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Right?
That's right.
According to today's standards. Whenever a new baby is on the way, the family can't help but speculate on what the little one might look like. Will he or she have straight hair like dad or curly hair like mom? Be tall like Aunt Susan or short and stubby like Uncle Leroy? I'm going to say another sentence, okay? I want you to understand this because this is not the bad part, okay? Will he or she turn out to have blue eyes, be light hair and light skin like dad, or dark hair or dark skin like mom?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happens, this baby might stand out genetically among royals because of his mother. And then, I mean, I'm just going to say marriage within a relatively small gene pool like the royals means a bad gene has a pretty good chance of rearing its ugly head.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good that they're bringing in new genes. Okay. It freshens up the gene pool. And then it says the father, there's ginger in the family. So there's a 6% chance that the child, only 6% chance that the child might be ginger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Her skin has a considerably more olive tone, and the baby will likely be somewhere between the two. But
Mm-hmm.
maybe more like the mother because her genes are dominant over the lighter ones. The
Yep.
odds are the child will have darker skin color than the royals might be used to. The same is true for eye color.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's betting. They had there were odds. They were making odds about whether the child was going to have red hair, whether the child whose heritage it was going to be, whether it was going to be a royal heritage. They
Mm-hmm.
gave the odds of 6% of the baby having red hair. They said there are 4-to-1 odds the baby will be a ginger. If you're going to put some money on it, you might want to think about it. The baby will be dark. So I'm going to leave you guys with that, Pat. We know who we're talking about here, right?
Yes, we do. So we have to have everyone let us know, who are we talking about? Who are we talking about?
And in this day and age, are these comments acceptable?
Uh-oh. Some people are guessing who it is in the chat.
I'm not gonna highlight your comment, Claudia. You just ruined it.
So I'm just saying, people are
You
saying, I'm not
guys,
ruining anything. I'm just saying people are saying who they think it
you know
is.
what, you guys? You ruined the surprise. You ruined the surprise. Quite frankly, I'm very upset with you. What and who will the royal baby look like? Can you imagine that this had been said about Rachel Meghan Markle? Catherine,
Yes.
Duchess of Cambridge, is reportedly due to give birth on that. Like, will he or she turn out to have blue eyes like Prince William or green ones like Catherine? Be light hair like dad or dark hair like mom? Will Prince
Yep.
Charles' ears be passed on to a future generation? Online bets are already being placed on the child's hair color. Whatever happens, this baby might stand out genetically among royals because his mother is the first commoner to marry into the royal family since the 17th century.
And this we know came out a while ago, right? But
Yeah, and when she was pregnant with George.
exactly. But the point really is, this was all said before.
No,
And before Megan's issue came out, and I think it would have behooved Oprah to know what people were saying about William and Catherine when they had their children, or when Catherine was pregnant. Because then there would not have been this big hoopla around anything Megan said about the birth of that child, Archie.
because I just want to stress something for you guys. This went on CNN. They had,
Right.
okay, this was worldwide. It is very good here that they're bringing in new genes, said Dr. Anand Sagard, a consultant in the Southwest Thames Regional Genetics Department. It freshens up the gene pool. Catherine's commoner genes might lead to a somewhat darker skinned baby. The royals had, he explained, are pretty pale. Catherine's skin has a considerably more olive tone, and the baby will likely be somewhere between the two, but more like Catherine because her genes are dominant over lighter ones. The odds are the child will have darker skin color than the royals might be used. Can you imagine
Hmm.
they had written this about Rachel Meghan Markle, which nobody
Right.
did, by the way, because they were terrified of this witch.
Yeah. 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 So I think that speaks volumes to everything that was talked about around Megan and the baby, because there is a precedence that proved or just kind of threw everything out the window that Megan said during that Oprah interview. It's been dispelled, it's been debunked that this has been said before by a white woman.
And they
Okay.
exotic genes. They called her darker. I mean, they said they wonder whether the kid was going to be dark. Can you
Right.
imagine? Megan is offended because these are normal conversations. This was worldwide news on CNN. Everybody was repeating. They even had bets on what the kids were going to look like when Prince William and was born. They had the same bets, wondering if they were going to have Charles ears. Because nobody likes Charles ears, apparently. Or
Hmm.
they're going to be like Spencer genes. Everybody. And you, Pat, when you have your child, you wonder. We're all wonder.
Yeah, we all wonder. So that's a bunch of malarkey.
But can
A
you
bunch,
imagine if this
yeah.
conversation had been had? Why didn't they have this conversation about Rachel Meghan Markle's kid? That would have been the normal thing to do.
Yep, it's definitely the normal thing to do.
Can you imagine this woman? We would still be listening about those conversations.
Yeah. Very interesting. So she can go kick rocks.
Yeah. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us. Pdina and I are going to be doing
And
this every Saturday. We're going to let you know
mhm.
the time.
And also I will be putting out a video within the next 30 minutes about um the investigation, or the congressional investigation that is being called or could be called about Harry and Meghan's charity. So I'll be doing that after we leave today. Please watch it.
So please don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for the super chats, guys, for the PayPal donations. Don't forget that Pdina
Yes.
and I have charity, so your PayPal donations are more than welcome. Buy her book, Global. If you're watching it from her channel, because we're both streaming it, you have the link to your book there, right?
I don't, but I can send it, put it in the chat. And yeah, so let's try to get
So
things
we're going to
moving.
be doing roundup things, and we're going to be bringing you stories that you haven't heard of, and we are going to do the Baldoni thing. Where I'm going to start. I have a very good video about Justin Baldoni, but I think that this is why Ryan Reynolds has been taking. He's not a nice person, you know, but
Yeah.
I can just see him defending his wife or what he thought, and I can only imagine when he finds out that his wife has lied to him. But it's gotten out of hands now. It's out of his hands.
It's really out of his hands now, and I'm wondering, like, how does he even save his own career from all of this? It just
No,
seems
Pat.
almost
Do you
impossible to
okay?
do.
Before you go, do you think there's any way they came back out of this without an apology to Justin Baldoni? And for them, even though Ari Emanuel came out and defending them and being a bully, mocking Justin Baldoni.
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think it is, at this point, it is it's too extreme. It's too big of a story now for it to really not really affect you. You know what I mean? I think this is really big for him. I mean, no.
You know what it reminded me right now when you said that, Pat? Remember
Mm.
when, I don't know if you watch Amber Heard. Remember when she was on trial and she was describing how she had just apparently severed Johnny Depp's pinky or finger or whatever.
Mhm.
Johnny
Mhm.
Depp is smaller than her because Johnny Depp is not a tall guy. He's a slim guy, And Amber Heard
Yeah.
is bigger and taller than him. And she
Yeah.
said that he grabbed her with that hand, that he had a severed finger, and hopped her on top of the counter of the bar and violated her with a bottle. All of this, I mean, he can't
Mm.
even lift her up, and he has
Right.
everywhere. I mean, but it's just Blake Lively gives me those vibes.
Yes, she
Sorry,
does.
gives me those vibes, and I'm not excusing Ryan Reynolds. I think he's an asshole. I said
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Taylor Swift, I think she took her friend's side. For example, if somebody came and said something to me about Pdina, or Pdina came and said something to me, I take her word for it because I think of her, she's my friend, and I trust her character. Especially
Mm-hmm.
if Pdina is not gonna especially when it's something so serious, Pat.
Yeah, I mean that's very serious allegation to lob at someone, and just to protect your own credibility, to protect yourself, and at least that's how I think it came about, to protect herself because she was lying. She was wanted to cover up those messages, those text messages. I think it's bad. It's bad for her, for
And
Blake.
in a 2 minute, I just want to hear your opinion for 2 minutes on Kanye and parading Bianca and Sort Naked. And now our Kevin Blatt, guys, I'm gonna post Kevin Blatt. I haven't sent you that. It's in my channel. Kevin Blatt.
You need to send it to me, okay?
Kevin Blatt is a Hollywood fixer. He's back in the news. I'm talking to him because he's gonna come to my channel hopefully. Um, uh, Kevin Blatt was like Ray Donovan. I don't know if you guys watch Ray Donovan. It was a Hollywood fixer. He is the one who leaked Paris Hilton's sex tape. She sued him for 20 million bucks. He lost. He laughed. He's never gonna pay it because $20 million. And then Kris Jenner came to him because after the success with Paris Hilton, she came with a sex tape for Kim Kardashian. But while he was thinking about it, because he thought, nobody knows her. Paris Hilton is Paris Hilton. Who's Kim Kardashian? She's a closet arranger.
Mm-hmm.
So while he was thinking about it, Kris Jenner jumped to the guy who ended up leaking the tape, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
he was offered by this Toronto woman in early 2016, if he could do the same thing he did for Paris Hilton for a Rachel Meghan Markle that he didn't know who he was. So he started the process, but then sometime in August, September, he was reached out again by the woman and said, you know what, we're not going to go ahead with it because she's marrying a prince, and we can't do this anymore. And then the guy who was a videographer in Florida, Megan was in Florida quite a lot, where P Diddy was.
Mm-hmm.
This is where that tape was filmed. Um, he called him freaking out, so he didn't release the tape. He said, okay, fine, and so now, because he's a Jew, he's Jewish, that Kanye has been doing this rant. I don't care where you stand with Jewish people or Palestine, it doesn't really matter here. But what Kanye has been saying is disgusting,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know? So basically, Kevin spoke out. I love it. And he took a Snapchat of a video he kept because Kanye West called this, and I'm not saying it. This is what Kanye West said, dirty old Jews, because that's how he referred to about the Jewish people. So he said, yeah, you weren't calling me a dirty old Jew when I made that sex tape go away for when you paid the $250,000 to the hooker while you were high on some drugs with MDMA. I don't know what the drug is. You didn't think of me as a dirty old Jew, did you? When I bailed you out and I buried that sex tape, but I still have it. So he
Mm.
took a screenshot of the sex tape and he released it. It's all over the news now. And then he's selling FU Kanye West t-shirts.
Mm,
But
mm, mm.
what do you think now? Because Kanye West, is he sick in the mind, Pat? Because now Bianca is divorcing him after she should have divorced him a week before he made her parade naked at the Grammys, you
I
know?
know, it's just terrible. Oh my goodness, what a hot mess. People in I just don't understand.
Why would she do that? But what do you think of Kanye? Do you think that he's
I think he's got mental issues. I think he have mental issue? Isn't he diagnosed with
bipolar or
issues?
something like bipolar?
Yeah. And
And
I think there's a lot going on around the behind the scenes with, these celebrities that sometimes they snap and they just do irrational things. And Yeah, it's just very.
Matemarit is friends with Meghan. I just want to clarify this. Matemarit is friends with Meghan.
Oh,
They've
okay.
known each other for quite some time. Yeah, she's older by 10
Yeah.
years or something like that. Because
Okay.
and this is another thing, Pat, that drives me crazy. Meghan Markle is not in her teens, okay? She's 43, she's going to be 44 because they keep referring to her as though she's like a teenager or this young woman. She's middle age, guys. 43 going on 44. She's not even in her late 30s.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Mette Marit is 53, 54, so they're like 10 years apart, but they were hanging in the same circles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but anyways, guys, since now you took my homework away, I will leave you another homework. What did what did Kerry Washington say about Meghan Markle? I have the article about Meghan Markle taking the credit and leaking about her being at her birthday thing. From Kerry Washington.
I don't even think I know the answer to this one.
I'll send it to you.
Is this
But
new from the day? Is this from today?
no, no, not from today. Actually, it was. Let me tell you what time. It was by ABC. It was on February 1st that she said this things. And
Okay.
it's from ABC News, but of course it didn't grab traction because everybody was focusing that apparently Jessica Alba was an attendee of the birthday party when she was the hostess. She's the one who organized everything, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jerry Washington gave this interview, but nobody picked it because everybody was just talking about Meghan Markle being there.
Interesting. Well,
So
send me that article.
I will send you the article, Pat. And go watch her video. I'm not going to put any more videos today, guys. I'm sorry. I've done the live. Weekends I'm doing lives because the people who help me with the thumbnails and the titles, they don't work on weekends. So that's why I'm not putting videos. I don't know how you get the titles and thumbnails because I'm stuck at titles.
Yeah.
I
Well,
suck at
that's
titles,
fine.
but have it. Please go watch Pdina's video. You're gonna put it in 20 minutes.
In about 20 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, so we're all gonna go watch it, and we'll see you next Saturday.
See you
And
next Saturday, everybody. Bye. Thank you to all the super chats and subscribers and members.
yes.
Bye.